namely tourism policy formulation and planning, tourism industry training, standards development and enforcement, and market and product development programs. Flashed on the screen, esteemed members of this committee, are the actual accomplishments of the DOT based on our committed performance targets under the fiscal year 2020 General Appropriations Act. Most of these programs that exceeded the target were due to several strategies, policies, and action plans that were implemented to address the current scenario and because of our shift to online platforms, which allowed us to mount more trainings virtually and reach more people. On the other hand, programs that did not meet the target were due to activities that were halted and postponed due to the changes in community quarantines. In the next slide are the physical accomplishments of the DOT for the first semester of fiscal year 2021. Similarly, for this year, the shift to virtual activities and travel restrictions brought about by the community quarantines contributed to the performance of our 4 priority programs. To achieve our physical targets for 2020, we spent 1.91 billion pesos out of the 2.09 billion budget in fiscal year 2021, with 91% utilization rate. From January to July of fiscal year 2021, we have utilized 39% of our allotment. As with previous years, our utilization is accelerating towards the end of each fiscal year, as most of our PAPs, especially our big ticket projects, will be implemented in the second semester of fiscal year 2021. Further, changes in quarantine classifications have also affected the implementation of our programs and activities. These changes include reschedulings or postponement. Rest assured, we will be able to use our appropriations before the end of the year. Again, I would like to thank our Congress for the Bayanihan 2 funds, which has greatly helped the tourism industries and its workers throughout the pandemic. The DOT, through our regional offices and in partnership with the LGUs, rendered administrative support to DOLE and SB Corps to ensure the effective implementation of the Bayanihan assistance programs to benefit our tourism workers, including tour guides and MSMEs. The DOT and SB Corps have given access to zero interest, no collateral loans with a loan term period of up to 4 years, including a corresponding grace period of up to 2 years. 1 billion pesos was allotted for the Tourism Roads Infrastructure Program through DPWH as provided under Bayanihan Act 2. The DBM has downloaded the fund to DPWH Central to be downloaded to the regional offices. Trip projects considered in the said additional funding allocation were selected from the ongoing trip projects from 2020. In our bid to reopen domestic tourism, the DOT and Tourism Promotions Board first signed a memorandum of agreement with the UPPGH and the Philippine Children's Medical Center to subsidize 50% of the RT-PCR testing cost of local tourists traveling to destinations that have been declared safe for travel by the IATF and local government units. So with the UPPGH, RT-PCR costs 900 pesos, and the results come out within the day. With the PCMC, RT-PCR only costs 750 pesos. There were more than 74,000 domestic tourists who applied for this program and were tested from January to August of 2021. In its efforts to bring back confidence to travel, the department coordinated with the National Task Force Against COVID-19 through Secretary Galvez and Secretary Vince Dizon for the vaccination of our tourism workers. As of August 30, 2021, the DOT regional offices reported 45.18% vaccination coverage of 219,263 tourism workers in A1 hotels. A1 hotels are the ones who work in isolation and quarantine facilities. Also regular hotels, other tourism enterprises, and tourism support services. Pursuant to the Supreme Court decision on the Mandanas-Garcia petitions and Section 17 of the Local Government Code, the department recognizes the need to lay down measures for the seamless transition of functions to the LGUs, given their additional funding and responsibilities beginning fiscal year 2022. Some of the functions of the DOT's tourism policy and planning and locally funded project under the branding campaign program shall be devolved to the LGUs. For the fiscal year 2022, we intend to push forward with its objective of ensuring the sustainability, resiliency, and inclusiveness of tourism based on the following strategic thrusts. The updated Philippine Development Plan of 2017 to 2022 presented the comprehensive scan of the political, economic, social, technological, ecological, and legal dimensions under the new normal. Flashed on the screen is the strategic framework for expanding economic opportunities in services that have been reconfigured to respond to the rapid changes under the post-pandemic new normal scenario. Premised on the updated PDP 2017 to 2022, the DOT undertook the reformulation of its National Tourism Development Plan. Taking into weight the current health situation, the DOT will pursue the following strategic directions: promote safe, fun, and competitive tourism, pursue sustainable, inclusive, and resilient tourism, and strengthen governance and destination management. While the DOT has reformulated its NTDP for 2016 to 2022, it is now currently working on a new NTDP for 2022 to 2028 as a legacy document that will be submitted to the next administration, building on the work done and enhancing further strategies. In addition to the reformulated NTDP, the DOT undertook the updating of the Tourism Response and Recovery Plan with the main objective of mitigating the impacts of COVID-19 on the tourism industry. The plan is anchored on, first, ensuring protection of jobs and safety of tourism workers, visitors, and communities, supporting the recovery of tourism enterprises, and third, rebuilding confidence and growing demand in domestic and foreign markets. Based on the premises of PDP, the reformulated NTDP and updated TRRP, or thrust for fiscal year 2022, is focused mainly on tourism recovery and the implementation of the Mandanas-Garcia petition, which devolves some of the functions of the national government to local government units. Flashed on the screen will be our undertaking under tourism policy formulation and planning program. The tourism industry is a people-centered industry. The DOT will continue to ensure that tourism workers have accessible opportunities for employment. In this regard, we seek to reskill and upskill the tourism industry's human resource by providing relevant capacity building programs that are responsive to the needs of the tourism value chain. We will make use of existing technologies and innovations in order to reach and capacitate our tourism workers. Under Tourism Standards and Enforcement Program, we shall continue to improve service standards and restore confidence to travel, develop and enforce tourism standards that are at par with global best practices. As we pivot to domestic tourism and gradually open to international tourists, the DOT will continue to stay attuned to the ever-changing tourism trends and preferences for our domestic and foreign markets through continued product and market research. We will diversify and adapt product offerings to these new trends and market preferences, and as international borders start to open, the key strategic and opportunity markets will continue to be engaged and green lanes explored in preparation for revenge travel that is expected to ensue. In summary, the DOT OSEC is proposing a budget of 3.526 billion to support our plans and programs as we continue to rebuild the tourism industry. The Intramuros administration, on the other hand, is proposing a total budget of 63.710 million. The National Parks Development Committee will continue to discharge its mandate of developing, preserving, and managing the Rizal and Paco Park in Manila and other parks that may be assigned to it. In pursuit of this mandate, the NPDC is proposing a 203.798 million budget to cover its operations. Honorable members of this committee, the NPDC as well as the Intramuros administration prepared presentations if you wish to see the details of their proposal. In sum, the Department of Tourism, composed of the DOT or OSEC, Intramuros Administration, and National Parks Development Committee, is proposing a budget of 3.794 billion pesos. Our road towards recovery is an uphill climb, but with your support, I know that we can and will rebuild a more resilient and sustainable tourism industry. After all, tourism is everyone's business. Let us work hand in hand in shaping a more resilient, inclusive, and sustainable tourism industry. Thank you and good day to all.
Thank you very much for that. A very comprehensive presentation, Secretary Romulo Puyat. Before we open the floor to questions from the House members, as we all know, the Committee on Appropriations works hand in hand for future legislation with the standing committees of the corresponding departments. May I please recognize the chairperson for the Standing Committee on Tourism, Representative Chairperson Sol Aragones, for a brief manifestation.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Kuya Jack, magandang umaga po sa inyo. Secretary Berna Romulo Puyat and the whole DOT family, magandang umaga po. This is actually a manifestation of support to the DOT family. Tama po kayo, Secretary Berna Romulo Puyat. Isa talaga sa nag-positive ay ang DOT o ang turismo ng bansa at talagang matindi ang hinaharap nitong mga nakaraang buwan, taon at hanggang sa ngayon. Pero ako po ay nagpapasalamat sa DOT sa pangunguna ni Secretary Berna Romulo Puyat dahil sa halip na panghinaan ng loob ay sumagwan ang DOT sa matinding hamon na ito. Sa katunayan, na-appreciate po namin, Secretary Berna, na sa kabila ng pandemya, umiikot kayo sa iba't ibang rehiyon ng bansa. Isa na po sa Laguna kung saan bumisita kayo noong February 2. Nakita ho namin kung paano kahit matindi yung banta sa kalusugan, pinuntahan nyo ang iba't ibang bayan sa aming distrito, pero hindi lang sa amin dahil pinapanood at binabantayan ko rin po kayo palagi sa Instagram. So bakit mahalaga ito na nabibisita nyo ang iba't ibang bahagi ng bansa sa panahon ito ng pandemya? Bagsak ho ang moral, malungkot ang bawat LGU na may matinding pinagkukunan ng hanap buhay ang turismo. Pero para sa DOT na bumibisita doon, nangungumusta, inaalam paano pa pwedeng makatulong, lalo na sa health and safety protocols ng ating mga tourism workers, ay malaking bagay po yon sa amin. Kaya po maraming salamat at personal nyo ring dinala ang DOT DOLE Financial Assistance, Working Capital Loans para sa iba't iba nating beneficiaries nito. At gaya po ng nasabi nyo kanina, 45% na ng tourism workers ang vaccinated. So malapit na. Halos kalahati na ho ang nabakunahan at ito'y malaking bagay na patuloy at kahit papaano yung magsisimula ulit ng pagbangon ng turismo ng bansa. Alam ho naming mahirap, pero salamat sa effort ng DOT at ng iba't iba pang organisasyon na tumutulong sa Departamento ng Turismo dahil kahit mahirap sumagwan kayo, kahit mahirap tumayo kayo, kahit mahirap umikot kayo, at alam natin na mahihirapan ng bumalik sa normal. Pero naniniwala po ako sa effort ng DOT, ng iba't ibang LGU, ng bawat individual na maaari hindi na tayo bumalik eksakto sa normal na definition natin. Pero alam natin na magiging handa dito ang DOT, ang taong bayan sa tatawagin na natin o tinatawag nating new normal. With that, Secretary Berna Romulo Puyat and to the DOT family, thank you very much for all the support and congratulations. That's all, Mr. Chair. Kuya Jack, maraming salamat.
Thank you, Madam Chair. All right, we will be opening up the floor for questions. This is our third GAB for this term, so we all know the drill, but we will reiterate once again. We are on a tight schedule and we are here in the plenary hall, so let me just remind my dear colleagues of our procedures. Anyone that wishes to interpolate will be given 5 minutes. These 5 minutes are a total of your question time, and does not include the answer from the resource persons. Please adhere to these 5 minutes. I am normally very liberal and normally allow a little bit of leeway, but I will be compelled to cut you short if you go past the 5 minutes. Nevertheless, should you require more time, we will go into a second round of questioning. So you will be recognized again there, should you require more time. You may also, or those listed may also give their time, give up their time to other members, but again, that will come on a second round. The tradition is that we begin with the minority and alternate from the minority to the majority and back again until everyone has had a chance to interact with the resource persons. We now open the floor, and we would like to recognize on the part of the minority, the Honorable Sherry Anta.
Okay ka naman. First time mo ba yun?
Comsec, is Reptan logged on? And does she have a stable connection? Okay, she may be experiencing some technical difficulties. May we recognize on the part of the minority, the Honorable Franz Castro.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Can I be heard, Mr. Chair? Can I continue?
Yes, please go ahead.
Magandang umaga po, Mr. Chair, sa ating mga minamahal na kasamahan sa Kongreso. Siyempre po, magandang umaga sa ating kalihim ng DOT at buong DOT family. So nakakalungkot, Mr. Chair, no, yung ating industriya ng turismo sa panahon ng pandemya. At kahit na ganon, sa presentation naman ng ating kalihim ay unti-unti natin na binubuhay. In fact, in preparation para doon sa pagtatapos ng pandemya or nalalapit na sana matapos na yung pandemya or we can live with it at naka-prepare na yung ating Department of Tourism. So unang tanong, Mr. Chair, yung pong budget natin so nakita natin yung budget natin for 2021, ang utilized ay at this time ay 39%. Tama po ba? So ano po ba yung kalakhan ng mga programa ng DOT na
last quarter ay isa sa katuparan po, Mr. Chair. Especially, I'm interested po doon sa kung meron tayong COVID response COVID response program, at saka syempre doon sa pagkakapacitate ng ating mga tourist stakeholders. Yun po. At alam naman natin, Mr. Chair, 'di ba, yung mga resort, yung mga hotel ay isa talaga sa laking impact ng effect ng pandemic. So, pwede po bang malaman, Mr. Chair, yung programa?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, ma'am. Normally po, for the first 6 months, even pre-pandemic, ganun po talaga yung budget utilization. It's 39%. Minsan 31 to 39%. Kasi lahat ng mga projects talaga, historically ng DOT, is in the last part. Pero with regard to COVID response, tuloy-tuloy naman po yung COVID response. Yung pag-a-accredit to make sure that all the resorts and the hotels are accredited and pass the health and safety protocols. Tuloy-tuloy pa rin po through the TPB, nagbibigay po kami ng yung gaya po nung nasa Baguio, yung Visita Online Registration System para makatulong sa mga LGUs magbukas. Kasi yung Visita, yung online registration system, yun po, we give it for free at yun po para ma-detect, malaman nila kung saan pumupunta yung mga visitors around their tourist spot. Tuloy-tuloy pa rin yung programa natin, yung pag-subsidize ng 50% para yung mga, kasi yun po yung reklamo, yung RT-PCR test daw napakamahal. So sa PCMC, 750 pesos lang po siya. And with the help of Secretary Charlie and Secretary Vince Dizon, umiikot po kami ng buong Pilipinas para ma-ensure natin na ma-vaccinate yung ating active tourism workers. Galing po kami sa Baguio and we are happy to say na as of today, 100% na po vaccinated yung ating tourism workers. Now, with regard to the other projects, yung hindi po COVID, yung the normal projects on the second half of 2021, I leave that up to muna kay Yusek Verna to discuss ano yung projects and then to ask Chris.
Thank you, Madam Secretary, for this. And thank you po for the questions. On the COVID response po, madami rin po tayong ginagawang projects to prepare for the opening of tourism, like yung development po natin ng mga various circuits sa iba-ibang lugar po dito sa ating bansa. So kanina po na-mention po ni Secretary na meron na po tayong nagawang mga tourism circuits that are related to food tourism, to environmental programs, to farm tourism, to dive, madami pong iba. Ito po ay para rin matulungan ng ating mga local communities na magkaroon sila ng mga programa para maiangat nila at makapag-recalibrate sila ng kanilang mga hanap buhay para po yung domestic tourism, pagka pwede na dito sa ating mga lugar, ay meron po silang sources of income para dito. Na-mention din po kanina yung capability building program. So ano ho yan, madami yan, may upskilling and reskilling programs din po tayong pinapatupad sa tulong ng ating mga regional offices at mga LGUs po para matulungan din po ang ating mga stakeholders na ma-equip sila for tourism development to prepare po for the opening and rebooting of the tourism industry. So ito po yung mga ginagawa natin sa DOT.
Thank you po, Mr. Chair. Doon po sa updating, no, baka pwede lang po ako makakuha, Mr. Chair, noong kanilang data on doon sa mga apektado nung pandemya, especially yung sa tourism industry, how many workers po yung mga naapektuhan, at saka yung mga ayuda po na naiano natin, na mga naibigay natin, yung mga or yung mga kasi po ang tourism industry, marami po dito yung mga MSMEs, di po ba, no, yung mga MSMEs. So ano na po ba yung mailagay din po sa report yung naitulong natin doon sa ating mga MSMEs na kabilang doon sa ating tourism industry, Mr. Chair.
Can the department provide the
be
same
submitting.
to the House? It would be very useful, not just for the Honorable Castro, but also for the rest of our members. Thank you, Honorable Castro. Would you like to proceed?
Thank you for that comment, Mr. Chair, para po iprosige natin itong ng DOT, yung industriya, kasi napakahalaga po nitong industriya ng turismo. Bagamat hindi malaki yung impact globally noong pandemic, pero alam niyo po, malaki ang potential kasi ito naman pong local industry natin, local tourism natin. Ito naman po yung pinagkukuhanan ng meron din po bang program na mga ang ating Department of Tourism, Mr. Chair, para yung mga local tourism industry naman natin, kasi ito naman yung malaking pinagkukuhanan din po natin ng ng malaking revenues. So kung meron po yung baka pwede pong ma-relate po sa atin ng ating department, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Honorable Castro. We will do that.
Na gusto nating i-raise. Dito po ba sa Bayanihan 1 and 2, magkano po ba yung nai-contribute po natin sa COVID response?
Yes. Mr. Chair, sa Bayanihan po, wala pong specifically na ibigay sa tourism. Nakapagbigay sa mga tourism stakeholders, pero walang nakasulat sa Bayanihan 1 yung specific sa tourism. Pero for Bayanihan 2, nakapag-allot ng 10.1 billion pesos, Mr. Chair. 6 billion under SB4, yung po ay under DTI. Yung rates po noon ay 4 years to pay, 0 interest, 0 collateral, and a 2-year grace period.
Yung binanggit nyo kanina, yung report ng COA ay napakaganda po ito. Pero even having said that, ako po'y naniniwala na kung pwede nating dagdagan yan. Napakaliit po ng kanilang, wala man silang capital outlay dito sa kanilang proposal. Ang pinakamalaki po rito, yung MOOE, at nakita naman natin yung kanilang ginagawa tungkol dito. Kung papayag po si Secretary Berna, ako po ay nagsasuggest na kung pwedeng dagdagan yan, yung kanilang budget. Alam natin ang kontribusyon ng turismo sa ating gross domestic product, ang pagbibigay ng trabaho sa ating mga kababayan, pati na yung mga taxes na binabayaran ng mga iba't ibang tourism-oriented establishments. Hindi po natin baliwalain yan o hindi natin pwedeng baliwalain yan kasi ito'y nakakatulong sa ating bayan. Having said that, Mr. Chair, if it will be okay with our Secretary, as I stated, I propose that we consider additional budget to them. And I will leave that to the Secretary to present to us, probably not before finalize the budget. And I would be, at gusto ko rin po magpasalamat, hindi lamang po sa tulong niya sa bisita program namin dito. Po siya nandito, she was a witness to the vaccination of our tourism workers. At nakita ko po yung tuwa ng ating pong mga kababayan dito sa lungsod ng Baguio. Kaya umaasa po tayo na ito ay ma-implement din sa ibang lugar. Kaya kung sana magawa natin din ito sa iba't ibang lugar, mas maganda po ito. So wala po kong gustong itanong sa kanya. Ang gusto ko lang ay kung meron siyang additional na items na gustong isama sa budget, ay kung pwede tayong bigyan nito, Madam Secretary. At again, inulit ko yung aking pasasalamat sa ating Department of Tourism, kay Secretary Berna, kay Director Joby ng CAR DOT, at lahat po ng mga opisyal ng Department of Tourism. So again po, maraming salamat po at God bless Madam Secretary at sa ating pong kasama sa Kongreso. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman Go. As we will see, some of the attached agencies will be in need of augmentation, and we thank you for your support in advance. The Chair would like to now recognize the Honorable Representative Sara Ilago. Okay, Rep Ilago is currently in, I've been told, in another committee hearing. Is the Honorable Shari Ann Tan back online?
Ako na, please po.
Yes, the Honorable Tan is recognized.
Yes, Mr. Chair, good morning. Good morning also to the good Secretary, Sec Berna. Mr. Chair, I would like to thank the Secretary for the support she has extended to Samar Province and to the 2nd District of Samar, particularly for the development and promotion of secret kitchens of Samar. Tourism Promotions Board funded also for the enhancement of the brand value of secret kitchens of Samar, particularly for the marketing and promotions program for the province dun sa culinary heritage program. And the office also funded for the product development and capacity development for the secret kitchens of Samar. So, Sec Berna, thank you so much for the big support. And right now po, we are responding positively with the call of the good secretary for the continued and following, of course, the protocols na kakailanganin para makapag-restart po yung mga turista ho natin. So far, yung mga local sites po natin, dinadagsa pa rin po naman ng mga turista. Hindi nga lang pareho ng number of tourists na pumupunta compared to, before pandemic. But meron pa rin ho. So currently, other mayors also of the respective municipalities also extended and parang nagpaabot po sila ng interest para mag-open po ng mga sites nila. Meron ho tayo because we started with Tandaya Trail 1, Tandaya Trail 2, and right now we are on the Tandaya Trail Trail 3, which is part of, isa na ho doon yung example is the Burubaybay Mangrove Conservation Area na kung saan meron ho tayong mga women's association at saka yung mga youth organizations na tumutulong doon sa specific site. Ang kagandahan lang ho, Mr. Chair, Secretary Berna, kasi yung site na to, meron talaga tayong nakapaloob or nakalagay na mga project managers who are handling the program. I would like also to commend the Secretary for her campaign for the vaccination of tourism frontliners. Ang laking tulong ho nito kasi ito lang ho yung makakapag-boost ng moral din nila at saka yung confidence. Hindi lang naman yung turista ang natatakot na mahawaan ng COVID but also those who are serving the tourists. So thank you for prioritizing the vaccination, especially for the frontliners. And marami na ho tayong mga community-based organizations na nagsiserve po dito sa circuit who are vaccinated already. And then we are also grateful to SECPERNA for the yung sa bayanihan po natin, yung cash assistance program, around 6,000 plus yung nag-benefit ho ng mga banig weavers, yung mga tricycle, at saka yung mga habal-habal drivers natin, yung mga yung nakapaloob dun sa circuit natin sa tourism. So ang laki ho ng tulong nila na naibigyan po natin sila ng ganun. So nagpaparating ho rin ho sila ng pasalamat nila. And yung ano ko po ngayon, yung tanong ko po sana, considering that the global health situation and the rising case of COVID-19 in the Philippines, medyo it made us difficult to make a tourism reboot until this time. So, what is the assistance of the DOT dun sa tourism frontliners natin? Masasali po pa ba sila sa Bayanihan 3 program ng government? Yun po yung first question ko po.
Yes, Mr. Chair. We spoke to Dol. Sasabit namin kung may, I'm not sure kasi kung may nakalaad sa House or sa Senate na like nung Bayanihan 2 kasi merong 3.1 billion only for tourism. I'm not sure kung sa Bayanihan hapong general na lang. But ang sinabi po namin sa Secretary Bebot Bello, kung pwede pa rin, tuloy-tuloy pa rin ang pagbigay namin yung mga nangangailangan sa tourism for Bayanihan 3. So, kahit na general, we will continue to endorse yung ating mga tourism stakeholders.
Maraming salamat po, Mr. Chair, to our good secretary. Kasi ang laki ho ng tulong nung naibigay natin dun sa Bayanihan 2. I hope we can have a good representation also to the Dolly family, that they will also consider for the Bayanihan 3 to have also intended for our frontliners for tourism. Kasi ngayon po talagang kailangan ho ng mga pamilya nila. And then my second question po, Mr. Chair, is about in view of the forthcoming full devolution, has the DOT come up with a comprehensive program that will give focus on preparing the LGUs transition to taking in more responsibilities in the development and promotion of their tourism resources? What are the specific programs will be rolled out in 2022 to increase the capacity of LGUs as far as the tourism governance is concerned? So, kasi po, dito sa ground, when I discussed this with the mayors and Gov Tan, medyo ano pa sila, yung in limbo pa sila kung ano ba talaga yung ano ba yung role na gagampanan, additional roles na gagampanan ng mga local executives. And then I think we need to capacitate them also kasi iba pa rin po yung may mentoring galing po sa DOT. And paano po, ano po ba yung matitira sa DOT? Ano po rin ang maibibigay na responsibility na nandito na sa LGU?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Pursuant to the Supreme Court decision on the Mandanas-Garcia petitions in Section 17 of the Local Government, the Department recognizes the need to lay down measures for the seamless transition of functions to the LGUs, given their additional funding and responsibilities beginning fiscal year 2022. Following the guidelines set forth in the national budget for fiscal year 2022, what we did was
Secretary for General Administration,
Agavas, you have the
Mr.
floor.
Chairman, following the long-established tradition of extending parliamentary courtesy to a co-equal branch of government, such as the Office of the President, and in re-establishing the tradition, I move that we terminate the budget briefing of the Office of the President. So move, Mr.
I
Chairman.
second the motion.
There's a motion,
Objection,
duly
objection.
seconded.
Objection.
Motion
Mr. Chair.
by Representative Tyrone Agavas, seconded by Deputy Speaker B.H. Herrera D. and
Objection, Mr.
Representative Alan Reyes. There is a objection from Representative Elago.
Mr. Chair.
This hearing is suspended
Yes.
for 2 minutes.
Mr. Chair.
Hearing is resumed. So we have a motion made by the Honorable Tyrone Agabas, seconded by the Representative Bernadette Herrera D. And there was a objection, but the objection from the Honorable Sara Elago cannot be counted considering that she is not a member of the Committee on Appropriation. So the chair now will rule the motion as approved. And I received information from the committee secretariat that Representative Franz Castro will give a manifestation. So the chair gives the floor to Representative Franz Castro for a 2-minute manifestation. Representative Franz Castro, are you?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I'm here.
Yes, please proceed, ma'am.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. So I'm expressing my objection for the suspension of interpellation and deliberation of the budget of the Office of the President. With due respect po naman doon sa Office of the President, so syempre nirespeto rin po naman natin, pero dapat din po natin na busisiin, tignan yung budget ng Office of the President. Especially po, ako for example po, tinitignan po natin dito yung mga budget na tingin natin ay hindi naman mahalaga o nandito sa budget ng Office of the President. Malaki po ang pangangailangan natin sa ating pagtugon sa pandemya. Malaki po yung pangangailangan natin sa education para magpatuloy ang pag-aaral ng ating mga mag-aaral. At siyempre, yung pangangailangan ng ating mga teachers at iba pa pong mga sektor, mga manggagawa, etc. So napansin natin dito yung napakalaking budget na nilalaan dito sa intelligence fund na tingin naman natin, hindi naman ito opisina ng military, di ba? O opisina ng PNP para maglaan ng ganyang budget sa Office of the President. At isa pa po sa i-raise ko sana bilang presidente or chairman ng NTF-LCAC. So, ito po, 30 billion ang inilaan para sa budget ng NTF-LCAC na hanggang ngayon ay hindi natin nakikita yung kahalagahan ng paglalagay ng ganyang kalaking budget sa NTF-LCAC. Biro nyo po, 30 billion, halos 100% mula doon sa last year na budget. Ito po sana, Mr. Chair, yung mga mahalagang i-raise natin, i-raise namin or ng representasyong ito. Kaya Mr. Chair, hindi na po yung tradisyon po natin na sinasabi natin na hindi na pwedeng busisiin dahil tradisyon na po natin 'yan. Hindi po dapat i-apply ngayon 'yan, Mr. Chair. Marami po tayong mga pangangailangan ngayong panahon ng pandemya na pwedeng pagkuhanan mula doon sa inilaan na budget sa Office of the President. So yun po, Mr.
Representative Castro, please
at sana
wind
po
up your
mapahintulutan.
manifestation.
Yes po, I'm winding up. Sana po mapahintulutan pa rin at ma-reconsider at kung hindi po ay sa plenary po tayo magkakaroon ng deliberation. Pero gusto po natin na sana ngayon ay mabusisi para hindi na tayo magtagal sa plenary. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much, Representative Franz Castro. The chair would like to remind the members who would like to interpellate, considering that there is already a motion for termination and ruled upon, that they don't have to worry because we will still go in plenary session and they can do the same as such, considering this is just a budget briefing of the Committee on Appropriation. So, huwag kayong mag-alala, dadaan pa tayo sa plenaryo. So next, the chair would like to recognize the chairman of the Committee on Appropriation, the Honorable Eric Goyap.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. bilang chairman ng Committee on Appropriations, I take full responsibility dito sa nangyari ngayong araw na to. And tama naman po talaga na sa plenary, doon po lahat mabibigyan ng pagkakataon, makakapagtanong po lahat ng mga members at wala po tayong itinatago. In fact, nag-submit ang Office of the President ng kanilang mga briefing and pwede na po natin busisiin to ngayon para sa plenary, pwede po silang makapagtanong. Lahat po ng miyembro ay mabibigyan ng pagkakataon na magtanong at lahat po ay nabigyan po ng kopya ng briefer ng Office of the President. And ito lang po ang sinasabi ko ay briefing lang naman po itong committee natin. Hindi naman po talaga to yung deliberation ng plenary. So, magkakaroon po talaga ng deliberation sa plenary at antayin po nila, lahat po ay magiging transparent, wala po tayong itatago. And po sa mga colleagues ko, good morning po, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much, Representative Eric Goyap. Considering that the one member of the House is physically present here, we'll just extend courtesy for her to make a 2-minute manifestation. So the chair would like to recognize and give the floor to Representative Sarah Jane Elago for a 2-minute manifestation.
Mr. Chair, hindi po tayo miyembro ng Committee on Appropriations, pero bilang miyembro ng House of Representatives, tayo po ay nagparating ng ating mariin na pagtutol sa hindi po natin pagbubukas ng interpelasyon sa budget briefing ng pondo ng Office of the President. Mr. Chair, this is the last budget of the OP under the Duterte administration, and there are a number of pressing issues that need to be brought before the OP, the Office of the President at this budget briefing, from matters of overall pandemic response, the 20 billion worth of confidential and intelligence funds, the lack of transparency and accountability over violations of human rights, just to name a few, Mr. Chair. Obligasyon po natin bilang mga kinatawan na iparating ang mga concerns, ang mga panawagan ng ating mga constituents. Mr. Chair, we had the opportunity in the past years to raise these significant concerns before the OP budget briefing. Why is the committee now denying this very right to the House members, especially those from the minority now? Hindi po makikita sa budget briefing na ito ang mga issues at mga kasagutan sa mga pinapanawagan na SALN, na public health records, na accountability sa sobrang laki ng mga pork at intelligence funds ng Office of the President. Kaya po, Mr. Chair, we express our dismay or displeasure of the minority na hindi po natin binuksan itong espasyong ito upang mabusisi sa initial ang pondo ng Office of the President at asahan niyo po na dadalhin ang mga issue na ito ng minority, ng members ng kabataan, ng representation na ito mula sa kabataan sa harap ng plenaryo. So, Mr. Chair, we reserve our right to bring these grave matters and concerns before the plenary. Maraming salamat at magandang umaga sa lahat.
Thank you very much, Representative Sarah Jane Elago. Next, the chair would like to recognize and give the floor for a 2-minute manifestation to Representative Carlos Zarate. Deputy Minority Leader Carlos Zarate.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Again, Mr. Chair, may I formally express the displeasure and vehement objection ng minority sa nangyaring proceedings ngayon. While it is true na ito ay briefing ng mga ahensya, but this is not an ordinary briefing. This is a briefing by the Office of the President at karapatan ng mga kinatawan ng mga mamamayan na maiparating, gaya ng nasabi ng aking mga kasama, na maiparating sa Office of the President ang napakaraming concerns ngayon. Lalo't na sa isang matinding krisis tayo na pinalala ng pandemya ng COVID at nitong mga nakaraang araw, napakaraming issues na nagsulputan na kailangang marinig natin ano ba ang posisyon ng Office of the President dito. Itong ipinapanukala nilang budget ngayon, Mr. Chair, sinabi nila ito'y budget sa pandemya, panlaban sa pandemya, pero nitong mga nakaraang araw sa ilang ahensya pa lamang nagpresenta ng kanilang budget in the briefings, nakita na natin ang misprioritization sa budget na ito. Kahit na doon sa usapin ng pambili ng bakuna nilagay sa unprogrammed fund. Paano natin malalabanan itong pandemya ng COVID kung mas pinaprioritize ng administrasyong ito sa huling pagkakataon na magpresenta ng budget, ang budget para sa pasismo, para sa pahirap, para sa pandarambong, at iba pang mga malalaking usapin. So, Mr. Chair, again, we vehemently register our displeasure with the manner this proceeding is conducted today. No? Kami po ay nakita naman ninyo kahit sa panahon ng pandemya, ang minorya ay talagang nag-cooperate dito sa ating mga budget presentations, sa ating proceedings, so that we can really examine, dissect this budget for the benefit of our people and our country. No? So while we are deprived of this opportunity now, we assure you, Mr. Chair, that in the plenary, we will continue to bring these issues. We will continue to engage these agencies because this is our solemn duty as representatives of our people. We cannot just sit idle while our people are dying, while our people are afflicted with this grave crisis now, with this pandemic. And this is only the last opportunity of our representatives. Kung ayaw ng ibang magtanong, kami po ay nakahandang magtanong at nakinig sa mga paliwanag. So, thank you, Mr. Chair, for this opportunity. Again, we strongly register our objections. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you very much for your manifestation, Deputy Minority Leader Carlos Zarate. Considering that we do not have any more members who would like to make a manifestation in this committee hearing, this committee hearing of the Committee on Appropriation is suspended until 1 p.m.